The presidential candidate Howard Schultz is getting slammed on the internet for attacking Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan. Now, the multimillionaire ex-CEO of Starbucks, who is running a hilariously bad campaign for president, recently put out a Medium post about Bernie Sanders and Medicare for All that said this. Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All proposal would strip health insurance coverage from more than 180 million Americans and cost taxpayers more than $32 trillion to implement. With no way to pay for it, no chance of getting bipartisan support in Congress, and the potential for significant ramifications in treatment and innovation, this proposal confirms what we already knew. Sanders and the far left wing of the Democratic Party are out of touch with reality. Being a leader requires making hard choices and being honest. Bernie Sanders' plan does neither and only serves to advance the far left agenda. Okay. So I love this in many different ways, ironically, of course. Okay. So, first of all, there is a way to pay for it. Bernie Sanders has already mapped out all the different ways and revenue streams that will actually pay for this piece of legislation. But I love how he says, being a leader it means making the hard choices, being honest. Well, this is a flat out lie. These numbers are complete, like this entire post is filled with fabrications. So much that is not true. And I'll point that out, of course. Medicare for All right now costs less than our current system. Our system is $35 trillion over the next 10 years, right? $3.5 trillion now, and actually is supposed to grow to around $50 trillion in 10 years. So ignore the first part, right? Now, Medicare for All would cost about $3.2 trillion over the next 10 years. That is by itself. And a lot of the mistakes that a lot of people make, sometimes willingly, is that they'll add the $32 trillion on top of what we already spend, which is completely disingenuous if you're doing it on purpose, and deeply ignorant if you're not. Because that's not how it works. It would completely replace the system. Now that gets to the other argument of, well, it's going to throw 180 million people off insurance. No. Okay, so there will be health care, right, to replace that insurance. So you don't need the insurance anymore because you've already got health care. You already have health care guaranteed through the government. You will have a government insurance plan. That is actually better. So, no, nobody's losing their health care, and he's being completely dishonest and, ironically, not being a good leader or not demonstrating that he would be a leader at all. Because he says, I don't know, you know what? I'm not going to lead with any sort of plan. My plan is status quo. My plan is basically lower taxes on myself or keep taxes low on myself. Well, that's not being a leader at all. So now, obviously, this did not go well on the internet. He got ratioed real quick. And I have some of the fun responses here. Child of the Vault says, they would move to a better system designed to cut out the middleman. All the middleman does is deny people care so that Aetna, Cigna, etc. CEOs can receive $1 million bonuses. 40,000 Americans die annually due to lack of health care. You hate Americans and have no desire to save their lives. Damn. Medicare for All Mike Hirsch tweets out, actually, not one person will lose health care under Medicare for All, but millions will gain guaranteed health care. We know better, so why not tell the truth? Roars says, Howard, serious question. Who ties your shoelaces before you leave the house? Winko the Bernie Bro tweets, I was just starting to miss ratioing Howard Schultz here, or Howard Shitz, but now I honestly want him to just go the F away forever from politics. I hear you, man. Muscovy Beast says, what is it with billionaires and being stupid? Ash, the fake doctor lady, says, no one cares about losing their health insurance, Howard. We just want to be able to see our same doctors and get our meds without going broke. Take my Blue Cross, AmeriHealth, whatever. Just let me see my primary care provider, and I'm good. Well, that's what we all want, and that's what Medicare for All will actually give us. The ability to see our doctor, to keep our doctor, and not have to worry about being in network or doing co-pays, deductibles, etc. We just simply have health care. Alex Koch says, seriously, guys, how did someone so freaking dumb run a really successful company and make billions of dollars even though its coffee is pretty gross? Some might differ with that, but I generally don't go to Starbucks anyway. The Humanist Report tweeted in, no, it wouldn't. You goddamn moron. 100% of the population having healthcare doesn't constitute as losing anything. Even people currently with insurance would gain healthcare stability, which they currently lack. Shut the F up about politics and stick to making burnt coffee. Damn. Lefty Desiree McLeftyface tweeted in, that makes no sense, Howard. If we have Medicare for all, everyone is covered, and no one needs their existing insurance policy, is what I was saying earlier, and what every single pundit seems to ignore on cable news. Michael Oman Reagan tweets, this might be the dumbest thing I've read today. Medicare for all would literally cause 100% of people to have health care. Awesome. Alt U.S. Press Secretary with a great tweet as well. Why is everything you say... Oh, hold on. Let me start that over. You're a Republican cloaked in independent rhetoric. Why is everything you say an attack on a Democratic policy and never a Republican policy? That's a good question. And by the way, they're not losing coverage. They'd be transitioned into Medicare, which we already had, which already exists. Polls at 77%. And so all we would have to do is use the existing framework of Medicare and expand it. Now, they also point out, hey, if you want to plan with an option instead, we've got that. We literally have the Center for American Progress and centrists now coming out with supposed Medicare for All Extra, which isn't actually Medicare for All because it keeps private insurance. And basically, it's nothing more than your standard public option plan, which would have been great back in 2008, 2009, or before. But that's their plan now, and it would give you an option to stay with private insurance, which that is not single payer. Single payer says the government is getting rid of health insurance companies, and so we are going with a single payer, the government. All right. And finally, Bushido Squirrel Overton Window Installer, which is like, by the way, the best Twitter handle ever, says, honestly, retire and give away all your money. Also, probably the best tweet. And you know what? If Howard Schultz were to give away all of his money, that would actually help society, unlike his ridiculous presidential campaign. I mean, imagine being the guy who looks at various studies about how Medicare for all would save us trillions of dollars, for one, while delivering great health care that covers every single American, man, woman, and child, and how it polls at 70%, and then thinking, you know what's a great campaign strategy? Being against that. No. If you think that way, you might as well be the dumbest person alive, or, alternatively, completely out of touch and basically looking to save money on your taxes. Which I think Howard Schultz is probably a combination of the two. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.